All right, let's do it. Welcome to the Dawg and Gus Show, now on Feel It Radio.
What's up, Dawg?
Well, here we are.
Yeah, thank you for putting up with my technical issues with the camera, but we've got it sorted out now. Yeah. Super stoked to have Mikhail Laxton on with us, a tremendous artist here in Ottawa from Aussie.
From Aussie, mate.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we had you on the Gramcast there a little while ago, but we were like so stoked to have you in person, which is fantastic.
Yeah, in person's better.
It is better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was going to be on the Zoom because I think we got our signals crossed and everybody was running a bit late, but
it's all good. We're all
it's good to have him in person.
It's all good.
I figured you would have brought your guitar or something.
You know what? I was going to, and then I've been walking around in the smog today a little bit, and my throat's a little dry. So
is it?
Thought I didn't want to sound like Happy Feet trying to sing.
Were you out and about last night?
No, just this morning, just today, just out and about doing my daily exercise and
nice.
Yeah,
okay.
A bit full on out there.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. Well, so what we were going to get into is you're obviously going to be playing at Bluesfest, which is like the pinnacle of Ottawa arts for sure. I think for musicians, and we did discuss it briefly on the Gramcast. But how is that like? Is that like a big moment for you in your career? You think?
Oh yeah. I'll be honest. Like when I woke up one morning and earlier this year, and my manager sent me an email and said, Bluesfest wants you to play. And I was just like, oh my goodness. I was like, I've been here the first thing I thought was I've been here for 7 years. And when I first got here, I couldn't book a gig for nearly 10 months.
Wow.
I was walking into bars and clubs with my guitar. This is after sending several emails to the venues, different venues around Ottawa. And I would go in with my guitar and I'm like, I'll audition right here. And they're like, no, we're good. And I remember I offered a couple of bars to play for free. I said, if you got an opening spot one night, I'll play for free. You let me know how I do. And like I'll play a 2-hour set, 3-hour set, doesn't matter. I'll play for free. That's how desperate I was getting. And the answer I kept getting was no. So it took a really long time. And then finally I managed to get into one of the bars that kept on saying no to me through this other guy. He was organizing these bands there, and one of them pulled out and he said, do you want to fill in? And I was like, I really don't want to play at this bar because they're the ones that have been turning me down the most. But I went anyway, and I played for half an hour, and I spoke to the guy. I met this guy at the bar, and he's like, who are you? What's your name? I'm like, oh, my name's Mikhail Laxton. He's like, man, we got to get you back here. And I was like, what's your name? And he told me his name, and I said, check your emails. I said, the last time we spoke, you told me that my music wasn't a fit here. Oof. And so so for me, thankfully Ottawa has embraced me since then.
Yeah.
And before this whole Bluesfest thing, but it feels really good to
how you like me now, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
almost. I mean, I try not to hold it over people. I get it. Like,
I think you
some
should.
people just don't.
I think you should.
Oh, maybe.
I'm just kidding. No, I think that was the effort that you put in and the constant
pounding on the door.
Yeah. It actually molds you, right? Like I think
Yeah.
In any I can't speak for musicianship, but I would say that if you're grinding, the fruit is so much sweeter once you get to that point, right?
Yeah. I do want to say, like, I didn't feel sorry for myself at the time. You're right when you say it builds character, because I just gained more ferocity from it.
Absolutely.
And I was just like, no, I'm going to, sorry, just
go ahead, swear.
Real quick. Yeah, I got a potty mouth on me. So
go, give her.
Okay.
Well, you're Australian. You're Australian, so we figured that, all right?
I just basically was just
and I'm Canadian, so I swear a lot too, so don't worry about it. Speak freely.
No, it just made me feel like, this is nothing I'm not used to, like I had to do this back in Australia, and I know it's also about knowing where you're at too. Like, I came here on the back of some really cool stuff that happened in Australia, and I knew if I walked in thinking that I could carry that over with me, that was a bad move. You have to understand that, like, if you're doing something like that, if you make a decision to go to a different country, you are starting from scratch with everything.
Yeah.
So I understand why they said no, to an extent, but the part that I didn't understand was they weren't even willing to give me a chance to begin with. So
Yeah,
it does feel vindicating, and it does feel a bit more of a like, like fuck you, like it's
Their mistake.
Yeah, it is, and that's it. It's just a mistake, and again, like you also got to realize that a lot of it's not even personal. It's like some of these people that are booking for venues just don't care. Like they couldn't give two craps about anything, and and so it's like, and that's just another thing they don't care about. So
it's tough too. Like not to defend the venues, but there's some venues like you got a folk singer in there after a thrash metal band. It's just not.
It's true.
It's not the right fit on maybe that night. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? But they've got to be a little bit more open-minded.
Agreed. And I think that also Ottawa has made so many strides in the right direction, even in that 7 years.
Mate, I'll tell you right now, like I would say since the pandemic, Ottawa has changed so much in the, like, Canada's got a great consumption culture when it comes to music. Australia is so different. Like the difference is black and white. People here in Canada, in this country, love, like it's part of your makeup to go and search out new things and explore and discover. And that's what I love about this place. So when I finally did get the chance to play, the general public, like I'd never experienced anything like that before. And since the pandemic, it's like it gave it a shot of steroids.
Yeah,
like people just love going out now and seeing live music and exploring, and
it's wild. It's amazing. It's amazing from like as a guy from Ottawa who I have ventured out of in Canada. I haven't gone as far as Oz, but I would, I had that opportunity and I blew it. But because I was gonna go when I was like 20 for like a year. Yeah, and I kind of kick myself now because I didn't go, but. Anyways.
It's never a bad time to go, though.
Yeah, well, right now is not a good time for me.
Fair enough.
I'm a little busy at home.
Yeah.
But the fact that, like you're saying, I love what Ottawa has done for musicians, for artists. We've always had the National Arts Center, which was always like a great place for young artists that were in the classical music, I think, and then we also had some good artists come to Ottawa, of course. But now that we're embracing all of our venues and our artists, it just makes it so much better. Mm-hmm. Plus our podcast is kicking ass because of it.
Yeah.
It's all because of us.
No, it's great. It's great.
No, it does. It really is.
Yeah. No, that's cool. So we were talking before the show. Dog, you can jump in anytime.
Thank you. I just might.
But I was excited to hear when we talked about Zac Efron's Netflix special.
Yes.
But that was filmed in your hometown.
One of them was, yeah.
Yeah.
So the episode where you see them spearing coconuts and catching crabs and weaving baskets. So that the woman that's weaving baskets is actually my cousin Delisa.
Crazy.
And I actually, so the guys that are leading it is Link Walker. He's my cousin somehow, and his other brother Juan. And I think Brandon was in there too. But I lived with their parents when I was about 15 or 16 years old. And their father, Uncle Benzo Walker, big shout out, is an incredible musician.
Really?
He is the one that taught me how to play guitar.
Cool.
Yeah. So it was really cool. Like I remember somebody telling me, Zac Efron's got this episode that looks like where you're from. And I'm like, I bet you I know where he went and who he's on TV with. And so I watched it, and my wife and I were just like, this is crazy. Like, this is literally my family here.
Amazing.
So,
it's amazing.
Big shout out to the Walker family back home. Yeah.
That's cool.
I'd love to jump in, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
You don't?
No. Zac Efron, what?
Me and Doug were talking about it, yeah.
I don't know what this is.
So, Doug Knight's here. Shout out to Doug Knight. He's sitting here as our... He's our maitre d'.
Supervisor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's making sure we stay on the rails here. Yeah. Doug, so Zac Efron has this Netflix special.
Okay.
Down to Earth.
Yeah. It's amazing. Where he goes to different places and it's really about the culture and how to be sustainable and sustainability from what Mikhail's hometown seems like. It's a very sustainable place, I would suspect.
Just the our indigenous culture is one of sustainability. We never take more than we need, and everything goes back to the earth eventually, you know. So I think that's one of the reasons why they went there and figured, you know, they wanted to learn a bit about the culture and our practices and how to hunt sustainably. So those guys actually taught a lot of us kids, those two guys in particular, Juan and Brandon, they're brothers. They actually ran this thing. This is going to be so crazy for people back home to hear this, that were a part of it. But when I was in primary school, elementary school for you guys, I was in grade 5 and up. They started this program called the Junior Rangers program, where they taught us, where Link and Brandon ran this thing where they taught us kids how to hunt and how to operate sustainably with Indigenous practices. So we learned that was integrated into our schooling when we were very young. So we learned, you know, they taught us how to make spears. They taught us how to go hunting for fish out in the on the mud flats, and obviously, like, our parents we just did that with our families on the weekends anyway. But you know, going into the mangroves and hunting for different food sources in there and stuff that, you know, not a lot of people know about.
Of
like
course.
they'd walk around in there and not see anything, and we'd be like, there's a crab over there, hear that sound? That's a mussel crying out. Or like, not crying out, but they make a sound, and you just sort of follow it and start digging around, and it's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when the zombie apocalypse comes, I know who I'm picking up.
Yeah, well, there's something to be said about the Indigenous communities. Period. I remember when during the pandemic, I took the University of Alberta's course on the Indigenous culture.
Beautiful.
And and it was, you know, it gives you, they like live the right way as far as I'm concerned. Like we're so quick to consume in our culture, and I think that, you know, as you mentioned, everything goes back to the earth, including us, right? Yeah. So taking what you need and then giving back what you can is so important. I found that so cool. I really enjoyed that course that I did take. So it's free, by the way. Everybody should take it. So
you're looking at me. I started taking it and then I just forgot about it.
yeah, it's okay. It was something
some
that
of us learn differently.
Yeah, exactly. See, I did it fast. I was I wanted it all done, and then I get the diploma at the end, and you're like, because I'm all about like I hate to say the recognition, but that's kind of my business as well as my, you know, I love to have
mantra.
Yeah, you got to finish.
Yeah. Well, it's still sitting there waiting for me to finish. It keeps reminding me, hey, come back and visit us.
Go visit the free course.
Because I got lots of time.
You do, actually.
Actually, I do, but I'm just making excuses. All right, can we talk about some music?
Please,
would that be okay?
Yeah. Dog, give her.
I guess.
First 10 minutes. The first 10 minutes is always mine. You know that.
Well, and then the last 10 minutes, and then the 10
this
minutes.
Coffee is great.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
It smells really good for a guy who hasn't eaten all day.
You want some?
No, I don't.
I got a nature bar downstairs.
I don't drink coffee, so thank you.
Oh, there you go.
It's delish.
All right, this is a question I like to ask singers and songwriters, especially songwriters. Which would be the bigger thrill? Having somebody take your song and record it, like cover your song, or be at a show and have the whole audience singing your song with you?
At a show.
Yeah,
having the audience singing with me.
Hands down every time. Yeah. It's the same answer. Yeah.
I think I would. I've never had it. I've never seen anybody cover any of my stuff. I have heard people have covered my songs before somewhere else, and like I don't have any feelings about it in particular that are negative. I'm just like, oh, that's cool. Like, it's impacted somebody, or you know, they like it enough to do that, so that's great. But I love the way that, like, if people are singing it. It's not just like a little. It's obviously a little bit of a good feeling for me in the sense of like, you know, that's cool. That's my song. That's
ego.
My
Yeah,
you know, a little bit of an ego thing, which is totally fine.
No, it should have.
But at the same time, I love doing that at other concerts that I know. Like I went to Chris Stapleton a couple of months back last year, and I was singing the entire time, just because I couldn't help it. Like I love that music so much. I love that guy so much, and I'm just like, I understand why people do it, and that's the feeling that I think that I like more about it. It's just that like it can bring a whole bunch of people together, and they're all singing together the same song, and it's mine. Man, I can't wait for that to happen. Yeah.
It's I've talked to Dawg about this a bunch, and I listen to your stuff, and I'm like, this guy's gonna be a star. Like he's gonna be like I have this feeling, you know, and you know, not to that I would know, and I'm not a production person, but I just know my music, and I just love your sound and your lyrics. So it's when the two go together, I always suspect that it's going to be big things, especially from what you've been through and to grind your way to this point. I think it's amazing. I mean, and your videos are great. I mean, to have somebody sing back to you would be probably, I think, be
That'd be
cool.
amazing. Yeah, that'll be the moment where I'm like,
Chris Staples is
cool.
Stapleton's a pretty good voice. He's got a pretty good voice.
He's all right. Yeah, no, I think it'll be like the moment that happens where I don't like coax like the crowd to do it. If they start singing, I'll probably tear up because I'll just be like, "This is amazing." Like,
of course,
that would be the moment.
I think so. It'd be like the pinnacle for you for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you're no Simon Cowell, that's for sure. But I think you're right.
Thank God.
I think you're right about
guy
this.
Looks like a lizard now.
Listen, I went to see him out at Bowie's there. Yeah. And there's the songs he was singing for that. Those are the ones coming out in your new album, right?
What's that, sorry?
The ones you sang at Bowie's?
Yes, I basically sang the entire album
Yeah.
that night, yeah.
I told him if he brought his guitar today, he wasn't allowed to sing the one about his mom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
I told him that because I said I'm not breaking down on my own show.
I would probably break down too.
Oh, you, James? Or sorry, Gus, you would be...
James is fine.
Yeah, I know, but you're Gus here.
Jimbo. No, I'm
Jimbo,
kidding.
James.
Jimbo.
There'll be no fucking gyms around here, right?
Gyms.
The only gym is we go work out in.
Jameson or James?
No, James or Jamie.
Jamie.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I have a niece, Brittany, who's involved in the Canadian Music Hall of Fame, and she went to Australia for a year, and then she came back, and we always have the same thing where if you say "oh no," all you have to do is just do Aussie. Is you got to go or nor.
Arnar. Arnar.
It's like Arnar.
Arnar.
But yeah, and my brother-in-law actually does an amazing Aussie because he was there for a year too. But it's very cool how the Canadian culture and the Australian culture are similar.
Oh man,
you know,
that's
they
crazy,
do coincide quite well. Is your wife from Canada?
Yeah, she's an Orleans girl. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's an Ottawa girl, born and bred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then do you write for her? Do you have any?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Like, there's a song I've got. Well, one of the first songs I wrote for her was just before we started dating, and it's not on the album. It will be on. I'm gonna say it now. It will be on the next album. But I wrote this song even before we were dating, and I showed it to her halfway through the song being done, and we hadn't really made any public display of affection towards another or said anything to each other at that point about being interested in each other. But she knew that when I sang it that it was about her. And and that's where it started.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Listen, I have to say, if you're a musician,
That sounds
and
creepy,
no,
doesn't
it doesn't. It doesn't, and I'm going to explain why. So, as a musician and being talented and being able to sing and write, that's the best pickup you could ever have.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, it's
Just happen to slide in with an Aussie accent too, and just like play a tune for just for my lady, and then boom. I have to say, it's a pretty good way. But I'm glad you worked it out. You got married here in Ottawa.
We got married in Stittsville. Yeah,
yeah, nice.
Yeah, at Next Restaurant. Great
Great
if you
spot.
haven't eaten there, great spot to eat, man.
Yeah.
Fantastic food, yeah.
I've been actually. It's wonderful. Yeah, great spot.
Sorry, we didn't get married there. We had our reception there. We got married in Manotick. We got married here in Manotick.
Oh wow!
Just at the mill there. Yeah,
Nice.
at that little church over there, the
Yeah.
Baptist church, I think. No, I don't know what kind of church it is. But
I think it's
It was a
Anglican.
church.
I think
It was
it's
a church.
Anglican. I think it's
Anglican,
Anglican.
yeah. I think you're
Had
right.
a steeple. It was white.
The stone
Church.
one, there. Yeah.
It's nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
spot.
Great. So when if I ever find somebody, I'm going to get Mikhail to write me a song. Seems
Yeah.
to work. Seems to work well.
Yeah, man.
I just won't tell anybody.
This is
I
from
wrote this song for
this
you.
is from Dave to
Yeah, whomever.
that girl over there.
That girl that's not around.
Come on, man.
Okay, your turn. I asked the question. Your turn. That's how this works.
Oh, is it okay?
Yep. If you want to.
No, I'm happy to ask questions for sure. That's why we're here, essentially. I think that's what a podcast is, right? We ask questions, you answer them, and we fill time. That's
Who
what,
knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Is there a spot in Ottawa, like, musically? Obviously, you played Bowie's. You've played a different. I'd love to know what the venue is that you that turned you down and then wanted you to come. But you don't have to answer that. But is there a venue that you really enjoy? Is there one that like kind of?
But, Irene's, man.
Yeah, Irene's Pub.
Irene's is like the people there are just amazing. They're lovely. They're a lovely crew of people that man the bar, and Ashlyn. Big shout out to Ashlyn. She books there. Mike, who I think he owns the place now. I'm not too sure, but they've treated me really good. Especially during the pandemic, they got me to come in and play some shows, and when things were really weird. But it was a great night of music, and they keep having me back.
Irene's a great pub.
It's a great
spot.
pub, yeah. And the built-in crowd there is just awesome. It's always different people, but then you still get the people that still like keep coming back, and then you always get new people as well. So that have never been to Irene's, and everyone gets it. Everyone that goes there understands. Like, you know, you walk in and you're like, oh, it's just a bar. But then the music happens, and you're like, "This is more than just."
Yeah, the garage is open.
Yeah,
you know,
great.
people walking by on Bank Street. Like it's a really great spot.
It's a great spot.
Yeah.
Well, for sure. I mean, anything that opens up onto a busy street like Bank Street, right? You just draw people in that way too.
It's wonderful, yeah. And then also people standing outside, and there's always ambiance when you walk by, and it sounds like a great time always, right?
I love Irene's. Yeah, I go there when I'm not even playing and just see what's going on. It's
Yeah.
great. Yeah,
That's awesome.
always a
man.
good time.
Yeah.
Well, keep it on venues for a sec. What would be your dream venue? Like Sydney Opera House? Would that be a dream venue?
No, I don't think my music fits there.
Yeah.
Like I mean, that would be a very, like I'd have to wear a suit for that one, but I wouldn't mind. So no, like I like, you know what? I grew up watching the Walker Brothers back in Mossman play at all the different pubs in town and in Port Douglas, and I always loved the pub crowd, you know, like, and obviously I want to play venues that are bigger than pubs and stuff like that. The dream is a lot bigger than that, but that kind of vibe, I would love to play the Bronson Centre here in Ottawa. I would love to have.
I have a feeling you'll be up for an award there next year. We were just there last weekend.
Oh, I bloody hope so.
Yeah.
That was
great.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mikhail was there too. Did he just say that?
Yeah, I was hiding in the shadows.
Yeah, I was
there.
like, I knew you were there. I was just like, you didn't say hi to us, so whatever.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's up with
Whatever, bro. Whatever. We were in the media room, so
not drinking champagne?
yeah,
Being
no,
all
yeah,
fancy,
no,
yeah.
yeah. No, it's a cool. I'd love to see you win an award there. That would be well deserved.
You know what
our friend Amanda won obviously the album of
Yeah,
the year.
she's
She's great, is
You-
right. But
You know what I'd like? I like people for.
what would you like?
I would like us to be the ones that gave him the award.
That would
be
be
pretty cool.
super cool. I think that we can work that out. We're getting friends with Melanie, so we can just sort of, hey, what's up, Melanie?
Oh,
Melanie.
You know what?
Hi.
While we're on that subject of the Capital Music Awards, big shout out to Melanie and I can't remember the guy's name, Kareem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, they put on one hell of an event this year. That was
Dude,
really cool.
You know what?
Really
It's,
well run,
when they
organized.
mentioned it's the fourth, and they said, the first three were in the pandemic, and the fourth, they sold out Bronson Center.
So technically, this is their first award.
Essentially, yeah. And we were like so excited to be a part of it because she did reach out to us and was like, you should come and you can be part of the media, ask a few questions, which we did. And they did it was perfectly done, really. I mean, I don't think there was any real mishaps other than.
Well, God didn't speak quick enough for some of the
oh
awards.
yeah, on the
but,
first, it was like, here are the nominees, and then
we're waiting, and then God spoke.
God will speak.
Yeah.
I was like, that ain't God.
That-
Melanie,
I know God.
Melanie, step it up.
Yeah.
Anyways, shout out to them for sure. They did such a great job.
Yeah.
And our boy here is going to win next year. So
Sure is.
yeah. When you release the album, when do you suspect that'll come out?
That is coming out in August.
August, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've been releasing singles, which is great. And you've been playing. Have you've been kind of testing them out at different venues? Obviously,
You know
Bowie's.
what? Honestly, I've been playing these songs for over a year and a half.
Yeah.
A lot of these songs I've been playing for more than that. I've been playing probably for 5 years. Some of the songs that are on this album. So, I think it's going well so far. I mean, like, so I started singing a lot of these songs before the album was even made, and then once the album was made, like, I got really excited about it. We'll talk about this later about the process of recording the album, but I got excited about it because we just hit something really cool, and as an artist, it's special when you've had the album mixed and mastered for the last like year and a half, maybe year. I would say, no, sorry, it hasn't been a year and a half. It's almost been a year and a half. Yeah. It's something special when couple of times a week, you put it on and you're just like, God damn, this is good.
That's awesome.
You
man.
enjoy your own music. I love listening to myself. Like, maybe it's egotistical. I don't really care, but like, I really enjoy and am proud of what we did on this record. And
I think that's the word right there. You're proud.
Yeah,
and you should be,
100%.
because you put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of years that have gone on that have, come along. And listen, saying that you like listening to your own music is like me listening to my own podcast over and over
or
and
it's
over
like
again. No,
you enjoying your own meal.
Well,
if you're a chef,
yeah.
Yeah,
Dougie.
Damn, that was
listen,
good.
I'll tell you, Dougie is one of the best cooks in the city, and he's back in the city, y'all.
Yeah.
He's back, baby. But no, it's so true though. Like, I think that it's your art. It's like if you were a painter and you painted something, you wouldn't not look at it. You would probably critique it a bit. You'd probably be really, I'm sure you do that now with your full album. But realistically, if you enjoy it and you put it out, that's who you're doing it for anyway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And whether I like it, or because I'm going to like it, a dog likes it or Doug likes it, it's like, it's for you. And everybody that likes it other than you is gravy. Right.
Yeah,
like,
exactly,
and if it happens to hit somebody in their heart, or hit somebody like, that needs that song, or the mom song, I can't wait to hear it, because I'm so close with my mother. And I can't wait to hear it, man. I'm so stoked. Like, you gonna press some vinyl?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we're getting.
Yeah, that's happening.
I want
as we
it.
speak.
I want a signed one.
Yeah, of course.
Mikhail Laxton,
Yeah.
mate.
Jim to
Jimbo.
I'll fucking allow
It's
it. All right,
already done.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it for you. But fucking Jim, I just not a Jim guy. I'm not a Gym guy. I'm a Jim guy, but I'm not a Jim guy.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah.
May I play devil's advocate for a sec?
Please.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to him.
Well, I'm here too.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When you listen to the album, do you sit there and, like Gus said, do you critique it? You think, you listen to, oh, I could have done this, or I should have played this instead.
Not anymore. No.
No. Okay.
No. We big shout out to my manager and label head. Like, he gave us so much time and space. When I say space, he literally just was just like, you don't have to show me nothing until you're ready. And I was like, really? And he's like, yep. He's like, when you feel ready, you want to show me something. Like, that he kept saying that every day, because I was staying with him during that time. And I was like, oh, well, here's what we did today. And he's like, yep, whenever you're ready. Like, if you want me to hear something now or later, then let's do that. And so I showed him a few of the first things we did. And then, like, after a couple of weeks, it started to get to the point where, like, I thought it was already great and the songs weren't even finished yet. And I was like, I'm going to hold on to this for a little bit and then I'll show you.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So if the producer, which I was co-producing the record, but like Aaron Goldstein was he was the gun that was helping me out with this. If they don't do their job, then there's got to be some heavy conversations, because it's like there's too much about this that I'm critiquing in my head.
Right.
And we had moments where it was like, hey, like this has got away from us a little bit. Let's rein it back to what the root of this song is about, and
Right.
and this, bring back the sonics to match it up. But overall, I had the last say on like, as the artist should, I've been like, that's amazing, and sometimes that's all it needs to be.
Right.
So if there was anything else to do, I would have done it. But we had so much time and space that when there was something else that I wanted to do, we did it. We tried it out, and we recut vocals, or we redid a guitar part or something like that. So it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did I hear all the songs that are going to be on the album when I was at Bowie's?
I feel like I left one or two out.
Okay, because what I heard is amazing. And I'm going to put it right, because you know how much I like Amanda's album, her last one. That's going to be right up there with it. It's what I heard at that show was fantastic. So I'm very excited to hear it.
Me too. Yeah. I love all your stuff already, so I can't wait to hear the new stuff.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
When you wrote about the song about your mom, so is your mom still in Australia?
She's gone.
Oh, she did. Oh, I'm so sorry.
She's gone.
I didn't know that.
So she was in Australia. Well, I guess she's still in Australia, but she's here with me now.
Yeah.
So we lost her in 2020, and we just visited her in March of 2020 when the world went to hell, and we got in for a holiday, and then the government was like, we're shutting the borders. So we had to literally turn tail and leave as soon as we got there. And then I was trying to figure out a way to get back for Christmas, and then she passed away in July. So four months later, she was gone. So the reason why I wrote that song was because she'd always asked me to write her a song, and up until that point, I hadn't written her a song, not because I didn't try, but because every time I tried, I couldn't find the right words, and like all the cliche lines. It felt like everything I was saying was cliche, even though I meant it, which is a reason why things are cliche, because they're used so much, and it really does describe how you might feel about somebody or something. So it got to the point where my sisters called me up and said, Mick, you need to write a song for Mum tonight. Otherwise, she'll never hear anything from you. And so 20 minutes later, I sent them a video of a song that I wrote right on the spot. And over the years, when I was trying to write songs for her, I kept just like tearing up the pieces of papers and just going, like, I don't know what to say. Like, what the hell can I say? What do I say? Like, there are no words for a person like this. And then that night, it just, all of a sudden, it just hit me, and I was like, that's the title of the song. What can I say? So
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm very sorry about your mother, but
yeah, cheers.
It's funny how music comes from such either loss or love, or because we all have mothers and we all have our own story with our moms and have the things that we want to say. So to be able to put it on in musical form, I think is such a blessing, because like you'll play it for us, and all the emotions I'll have for my mother will come out, and Dawg will have that for his mom, and Doug will have that for his mom. We all have special relationships especially with our mother. Maybe not so much our dad, it's a different thing, but certainly as a son to a mother, I can't wait to hear it, man. I know that Dawg's mentioned it already, but
it's going to be huge.
I apologize. I didn't know that she had passed, but right. But nothing but love for you, man. It's tough.
Thank you.
Yeah, I told you. I said, if you're bringing your guitar, you're not playing that song, because even at Bowie's, I was just like,
oh yeah, I'm sure.
Oh,
sure, it's emotional. But it's emotional.
Yeah.
It was emotional for him, and that comes out to everybody, right? I love that about music.
Yeah, but Mikhail, exactly what he said here is pretty much exactly what he said at Bowie's about the song.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's another thing that Dawg was mentioning, is you do describe a little bit of every song when you're singing, which is fantastic. I love that. I love that you're giving us a premise, and then you go into the musical part of it. Where does that come from? Is that just sort of like you love to tell the story of the song, or?
I think I was deprived of it in Australia. So I'll like just going back to the thing I said before about Canada and Australia, the music consumption culture is so different. Where like even at house shows that I were doing that were my shows, somebody in the crowd after the first or second song would be like, play something we know. So I never got the opportunity to tell the stories behind my songs. And the very few times that I did get the opportunity and people appreciated it were very few and far between. So when I came to Canada, one of the first things I did is I hit up all the open mics in town. And, in Australia, if I was to hit up an open mic, I'd play 2 covers. If I had 4 songs, 2 covers, 1 original, finish with a cover. That's what that was the sweet spot for people that were listening. And then I did that here, and people, like, I'll do two covers, 1 original, finish with a cover. And I noticed something different. People were like, man, those covers you did were really cool, but man, that original song, holy, like you got it. And I kept hearing that, and I was so confused. But then I was like, all right, well, I'm going to add another original and get rid of switch it out for, get rid of a cover. And then eventually it got to the point where I wasn't singing covers anymore, because people were just digging what I was doing, which is such a good feeling. Yeah. Such a good feeling. And then I noticed that, sometimes people started asking, like, what's that song about? After the show, what was that song about? Oh, it's about this, that, and that. And some of them were like, what? You got to tell that story before you sing it. And I was like, okay, cool. So it just sort of came out of like happenstance. I mean, I'm a long-winded talker, as you can tell, but
Helps us, don't worry.
yeah. But I love a good story. My grandfather's a good storyteller. Our people are good storytellers, and that's a part of our culture. And I guess it just sort of comes naturally. I got the gift of the gab.
Yeah.
Yes,
You know?
do. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
But
Tell Gus which cover you did.
Oh, I did a cover of Rolling Stones' "Dead Flowers."
Ooh, I love that tune.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I did
Stones
like
tunes.
a Tarantino-esque vibe on it.
Very cool. I can't wait to. I gotta get a version of that. If you could send it over, that'd be wonderful.
Absolutely.
Well,
It's one of my favorite Stones songs. That's why Dog asked. Like, he's
That's
like,
right.
Yeah, I love that tune.
Yeah, I didn't. I got to hear it live, and it was awesome. I was just like, "No way, he's playing that!"
That's so
Oh yeah,
But
It was so good.
I love the story of how you got to that point where you got the confidence to, I'm playing my own songs, I'm describing my own, like, because of that experience and because positive people were coming up to you and saying, you got to tell that story, man, you got to do this. It allowed you to have the confidence to say, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, it's the confidence, but it was more so out of patrons, like, you know, audience members coming up after the show and just being like, when I did tell a story, you know, on stage, they were like, don't not do that. Like, you got to keep telling the stories. Tell us all the stories you can. And I just kept hearing that. Oh, it was back in like 2018 it started happening, where people like kept coming to shows, like the same people that knew the stories, and they were just like, I need to hear that story again. It was like they were there for the story as much as they were for the songs, you know,
Yeah.
which was really cool. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
and you can tell because you told the story here again, and it was pretty much verbatim what you said at the show when you did it in Bowie's. And I keep saying Bowie's because that's a great little venue
It's
to
a
go out
great
and
little
check
venue.
out.
Yeah,
What's the owner's name again?
Pat
He-
Maloney, he's fantastic.
amazing, like very, like, hey, you're the guy that
Smith
bought the
Falls,
ticket.
Ontario, baby.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah, there's something in the
all the
water out
Anguses are buried there, just so you know. That's
gotta
where
tell
I,
it at least once a show.
Yeah. Well, it's my brother Ross is not. He passed away in 2011. Very important person in my life. His urn is with my mother, but there's a huge football shaped tombstone there with his name on it and everything. It's ready for him whenever he wants. Whenever my mom wants him to go there, or if she ever, you know, whoever gets him. He's just moving around. That's the type of guy he was. Anyways, so yeah, all the Anguses started in Smiths Falls and then moved on to the downtown core. So there you go.
I'm the Angus's.
Yeah, my last name is Angus.
Oh,
That's where
Gus.
Gus. Yeah.
okay, I didn't know that.
No fucking Jim. All right.
Jimbo,
Hit a nerve there.
No Jim.
Jimbo.
No, just kidding. Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, you're gonna if you do it. I guess it is gonna happen. I have a good sense of humor, so do it. But I am good. That's so cool. I love the stories. I love the gift of the gab is important too. Grandfather. So you're indigenous of?
So I'm indigenous, but the grandfather I'm talking about, actually both of my grandfathers. So my grandfather Alan Laxton, he's in Cairns, and my German grandfather Werner Siegen, he's up in Werner. Yeah, he's up in the Tablelands. He's a brilliant storyteller too. Yeah, both of them are great. Yeah,
and you still have both of them.
yeah.
Oh,
Still got
that's
both of them.
fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite person growing up was my grandfather. So it's cool, like the storytelling, and he was
Good people.
He was. Yeah, just I think it's just that generous nature and I don't know. They have a special way about them.
Yeah.
Now, as a storyteller, I see you gravitating towards the country and stuff like Chris Stapleton. Do you have a favorite singer-songwriter or songwriter?
Yeah, I do. I got a couple. I got to start off with Amos Lee.
Okay, yeah, he's great.
Anybody that knows me probably can hear the influence in my voice when I sing. When I was 18, I wasn't a singer until I was 18. I sang, but I didn't ever think of myself as a singer. And I was at this music school in Brisbane, Australia, and my friend Jules, I'm struggling to remember her last name, but I heard this music coming from the community room that we were at, and I was like, that sounds live. but it sounds like a recording. And I went out, and it was my friend Jules singing an Amos Lee song. And I was like, I just stood there and I was just staring at it. I'm like, what was that song? Like, who are you? Like, and she just said, oh, this is a song by Amos Lee. And she sent me, she showed me some YouTube videos of his debut album, and I just fell in love with his voice, his writing style. And I was like, I can sing like that. And so I literally just emulated him from the first, couple of years of my career or trying to sing. And then, so songwriters, I think Amos Lee's a fantastic songwriter and singer. I love Glenn Hansard. Glenn Hansard is an Irish singer, songwriter. Like, he's one of the best songwriters in my opinion. And man, there's this guy called Archie Roach in Australia who everybody calls him Uncle Archie, but he passed away last year while I was in Australia, which really sucked. And he is an Indigenous man. He was a part of what's known as the Stolen Generation. He's an Indigenous man that was taken. The police took him away from his parents because he was fair-skinned, light-skinned, and that's what the government was doing back in those days, and putting them in what you guys know as residential schools. We call them missions. And he wrote this song back in the 80s, I want to say. He had an album called Charcoal Lane, which was just a brilliant album. And on that album, I believe it was on that album, there was a song called Took the Children Away, which is just crazy. But he had a very long, beautiful career with his wife, Auntie Ruby. And I remember my uncle put an album in 2002 called Sensual Being. And this album is so phenomenally good. I was 11 or 12 at the time, I think. And that was the first time I experienced something spiritual when listening to music. Music always moved me, but this was the first time where I was like, wow, like that blew my mind. So, and he was, him and his team and whoever else was a part of his crew, they were, he was a great songwriter and wonderful man.
Great.
Yeah.
It's always fun to ask because it's always fun to see where it's going to go.
Yeah. That's not all of them, but
no,
that's the top
I know
three.
you could go on for a while,
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just fun to ask that just for somebody who actually writes songs.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Where do you find inspiration? Do you just sort of, is it a different thing every day that you go to?
I'm at I've gotten to a weird place where I don't need inspiration to write because I'm inspired all the time. So I don't really draw from one particular thing, but a lot of the times, like, I'll hear the first few bars of a song and I'm like, I got to turn it off and go do something and like muck around on the guitar. Or like I'm at the point now where I don't really get writer's block because I don't take writing. It sounds weird. I'm a very serious writer when I'm writing, but I don't take it seriously, if you know what I mean. So if I get stuck, I don't get mad. I'm just like, all right, come back next time, because it'll always come out. It'll always eventually come, whether it's a week, 1 day, 2 years from now. A good song is a good song, and sometimes a whole song comes in 5-10 minutes. Sometimes it takes longer, and I don't get mad at myself. Yeah. Inspiration, everything, absolutely everything's inspiration.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm writing all the time in my head. I'm
Right
writing
now.
right now. Yeah.
Dawg and Gus.
Dawg and Gus.
Jimbo. No,
Not Jimbo.
It's amazing to me because I'm considered a patient person, but I don't think I could be that patient, like the way you just explained it, like how you can leave and then come back. Whereas I'm like, I have to finish it at the, like, whatever task I'm in, I have to finish prior to, like, so bad that like I'll do gardening and stuff at home, and Megan's like, have some water. You know, because like I'd be out there for 2 hours, like
Hyper-focused.
I am like I'm like shoveling and I'm, sweating my ass off and I'm doing it, but I want to finish. But she's like, you're going to pass out if you don't have any water. So it is interesting to me to hear, because we're all different. So certainly that is so cool that you can go away from it and then you know it's going to come back.
Yeah. I I'm going to say, I'm going to compare it to playing music. I remember I sort of had this little duo for like a couple of months, and I said to each other, I said, let's just practice at being like knowing what to do when we play certain songs so that we don't really need to rehearse, but we've figured out what we're going to do and there's room for improv. But I said to him, I want to be so good that at a moment's notice, somebody can say, here's a guitar, can you play a song? And I can kill it. And that's how I started looking at songwriting. I don't write all the time, but I've done it for long enough now that I know that if I don't write for 6 months, like on paper and sit down and have a couple of sessions, which will never happen. I'll never take that much time off. I have quiet periods where I'll write like 8 songs in like 6 months or something like that. And then there'll be a 6-month period where I'm writing like 20 songs or 50 songs or something like that. And not all of them, when I say writing songs, not finishing songs, but like I've got so many songs that are unfinished too. And some of them aren't worth going back to. Like some of them will come up one day, I'll think about it, it hits me. And that's how I know it's worth pursuing again, because it's stuck in my head after 2 years of not doing anything with it. So, but I know now that I'm at a point from a skill level point of view that if I'm to go into a session with somebody, I can hold my own in a writing session and come out with a good song by myself or with somebody else. So, it's a skill at this point. Yeah,
I would say so. Yeah.
Now, keeping it on the song thing for a sec, I saw a video with Randy Bachman, and they asked him, "What song do you wish you wrote?" It'd be interesting to hear your answer, because I'll tell you his after. He actually joked and said "American Woman," and he's like, "Oh, I did write that song."
I don't think that's their best song either.
No, it's not, but it's he did write it. Yeah,
it's a great tune.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
It's a great tune. Yeah. Are you asking me?
Yes.
Okay.
Any song out there that you wish you had written?
Even if you weren't, I was going to tell you anyway. So. The song that I wish that I'd wrote, "Blue Dubba Dee Dubba Die" by Eiffel 64. I'm kidding.
That's so awesome. Get out of here.
I'm just talking from like a streams point of view. Like that song has got so many freaking hits.
Doug, get the door.
Yeah. No, just the window will do. No, I'm kidding.
That's too funny. That's an annoying song too. That's just like that's one of those.
It's in my head already.
It's the worms. It just gets in there.
Sick
and
of
it.
Right away.
Guys, I would have to say, right now,
I know it's a tough question, especially for a songwriter.
Yeah. Let's come back to that. I'll think. Yeah, ask me the next question and we'll think about it.
I'll tell you what he said.
Please do.
He said, and I'm going to forget it now. The Eagles, Hotel California.
Oh yeah.
And the reason, I don't think it was so much the songwriting. He goes, just think of the venue on that. Just the money they're making off that song.
Oh,
I think he was joking, but it's an amazing song.
They made a few bucks off that song.
They sure did.
There is a song.
There we go.
I'm not going to say this is like all time or anything like
fine.
that, but like every time I hear it, I'm like, gosh, like what a great turnaround in this song. Not like I'm talking like lyrically, scientifically, like the way he came back to this line. It's called "First Defeat" by Noah Gunderson. Yeah, it's a really powerful song. You know Noah Gunderson? Yeah. So there's a song called "First Defeat," and like I remember I was back home showing my sister. I'm gonna say 2 songs. There's that one, and I was showing her that one, and she got it. She's not even a songwriter, but when she heard the turnaround in the song where he used the line in a different way, but it still ended on it, she was like, "Oh man, like wow, like the way he came back to that one line was just so good." So "First Defeat" by Noah Gunderson, and there's this song that's just been rattling me, like in a good way, since it came out earlier this year or last year actually, and it's called "Through the Echoes" by Paolo Nutini.
Paolo Nutini's great.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Good
Yeah,
answer.
that song is
I love him.
Banger.
Those are some good answers.
Yes, very good answer. I knew that was coming. Like, it's always going to be fun because Gus and I are always up for new stuff to listen to. Always.
Yep.
So that's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We do ask a question around here that comes up every show. If you've listened to us at all, like I don't know if you have, but we ask 80s or 90s music.
Well, the 80s is the home to Purple Rain.
Correct.
That entire album,
Mm-hmm.
which I love.
I knew I really liked you because you're like the Prince fan, right?
Yeah,
Like, I mean, come on.
And so much other great music. Man, I'm also an R&B hip hop fan, and the 90s were just banging.
Yes, they were.
They were banging.
I'm a hip hop aficionado, just so you know.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
So 90s was the time.
I'll be honest. Yeah, so I'm gonna lean more towards 90s because the music I listen to is like that. I always like. It drives me crazy sometimes how good it is late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah. And that's the stuff where it just hits me as soon as I hear it.
The Chronic 2001 maybe.
I'm talking R&B.
Oh,
like
so
I'm talking
so Montel.
Yeah, but also Blackstreet.
Blackstreet was amazing.
There was a vocal group for a minute called Milestone.
Oh, I remember them too.
Babyface
Yeah.
was the leader.
Yeah.
Kevon Edmonds, his brother, was in it. That guy sounds like his voice is amazing. His older brother, Melvin Edmonds, and then Casey and JoJo from Jodeci.
Shit.
I
don't really know Milestone that well, so I have to check them out because I love Babyface.
I only know one song from them, and it's called Care About You. You can find it on Spotify under Babyface's stuff, but there's a YouTube clip. Look up Milestone Oprah Winfrey.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they do a live, and it's just like, God damn, it's good. It just like, man, every time I play it or listen to it, I'm screaming, man. It's so good.
That's
it's
awesome,
so good.
man.
Yeah,
It's awesome. Yeah, there's some good. 112 was one that came to me. Like I liked 112.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously like that Biggie remix one. You know, 112. Right. That's a classic. R&B, R&B. So I was more hip hop, but I like R&B a lot too. Yeah.
Such a broad range, the R&B though, right? Like it was.
Oh, for sure. Oh.
Oh.
What you got?
But at the same time, some of my favorite music is like that I love just as much as I love some of that Jodeci and Milestone and Babyface, all that R&B stuff is and this is going back further than the 80s.
Ooh.
Is just like, well, what is that Eagles Hotel California record? When was that? Is that
76.
70s?
76.
And you would know.
Let's go back a little further. CCR.
Yep.
Maybe around the same time.
Yeah. 60. They're like 69, 70.
69, 70. And then AC/DC, man. I grew up on AC/DC.
Well, of course.
Akadaka.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, and I
mean, people forget they're Australian, right? Like the people think. I remember somebody saying they're American. I'm like, no, they're like the biggest Australian band of all time.
Yeah, well, they're up there.
Well, just like they're pretty well known worldwide.
Yeah, that's a fair comment. Yeah.
What's your favorite AC/DC song?
Highway to Hell.
Oh yeah, good. Is it Bon Scott or Johnson that is better for you?
Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the other guy, but
wasn't very long. Yeah, he died in his car.
Yeah. Not the other guy, Bon Scott. Sorry, obviously.
Although I liked Bon Scott, like just his character and stuff. I remember Angus Young like talking about. It wasn't long before Bon had his shirt off, showing off all his tattoos.
Of course.
Like it was like within minutes.
Yeah, here's the thing, and this is just a random thing I want to say. When somebody when the lead singer of a legendary group dies or quits or doesn't want to do it anymore or can't do it for whatever reason, I hate it when the new singer comes along and they do a great job, but there's some diehard fans that just can't. It's like, oh, he's never going to be. And it's like,
Brian Johnson's amazing though.
He's not that person. And also, what do you want them to do? Not sing the old hits from the original guy? It's not a sports team where they traded him off. Like,
that's right.
I mean, sometimes it might be, but But it's just like, oh, there'll never be. It's just like, get over it, man. The guy, like,
he died in like 1980 or something.
Before,
yeah.
I will say, they got Brian Johnson a little too quick. They were in the studio with the new lead singer a little too quick. Yeah.
Well,
Conspiracy
Angus and Malcolm, man, they wanted to get her going.
They knocked off Bon Scott and brought in Johnson.
It's still a
just what's
mystery, isn't it?
happening.
It's still a mystery, right?
Well,
And to go back to the Australian bands, you're like In Excess,
yeah, love
Crowded
it. Great.
House,
The Bee
Split
Gees,
Ends,
Men
the
at
Bee
Work.
Gees,
Yeah.
Men at Work. Like these are all Australian bands. that
Bee
came
Gees
out.
actually might be the biggest band that ever came out of there
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because nobody sold more albums than them in the
That's true.
70s.
True that.
Um,
Three Dog Night, I believe, are Australian as well.
Who's that?
Three Dog Night, or it's a term that came out of Australia. You ever
Three
heard
Dog
that?
Night?
Oh, never
It's a
heard that.
3 dog night, which means it's really cold because there's 3 dogs sleeping
Oh,
with you,
okay.
so it's a
Right,
3 dog
right.
night.
fuck.
Huddle together, guys. Keep warm.
Yeah, exactly. Take your 3 dogs. And
I have an
there
Aussie
you go.
Shepherd. Is that anything?
Yeah, there you go.
So if you were to compare, like obviously musically, you've said Australia and Canada. Do you like the cold weather? Or have you embraced it?
I love Christmas and I love New Year's here. I'm done after that.
Well, you
Yeah,
still got 3 more months,
absolutely-
bro.
No, sometimes 4, man. It just
Oh,
feels
I
like
know,
it
I
never
know.
ends.
This year for sure.
We had a lot of snow
Are we
this year.
done?
No, I'm
We had a
over
lot
it.
of snow.
Yeah. I told my wife this is the last like full winter we're spending here.
Yeah,
I don't care. Like I don't care where we go. I mean, I do. I want to go back to Australia and visit, but you can't win because when you go back to Australia at that time after New Year's, it's cyclone season, it's wet season, it's flooding. It's just like it's the worst time.
When's the best time to go to Australia?
Oh man, I used to say winter, but I went back in winter last year and it was like it kind of sucked a little bit because you can't enjoy the beaches. It's just windy as all get out and not fun. I would say early summer. I would say like
June-ish, like now?
no
Early summer for them.
summer for
Oh,
them.
for
So
them,
I would
sorry.
say like when it's fall here, then you go over.
So like August,
October.
September.
Yeah. August,
maybe
September, because it
maybe
starts
October.
getting hotter, but at Christmas time it's like 42 degrees, like
Yeah.
7 days in a row.
Can't do that.
It's not and muggy or dry. It's been so hot sometimes we're like, I don't know if you've ever felt your skin cracking. Like it's just like you just itch all over.
I
Because
definitely feel that here
hot.
sometimes when it's super humid, but you're sweaty here too, so
Yeah.
it's different.
That's true.
It's a different heat, not the same.
But yeah, to answer your question, I like the winters a little bit.
Have you skated yet?
I've skated, yeah.
Oh, okay,
I haven't
okay.
skied. Actually, that's a lie. I skied on a 6-foot hill in my friend's backyard in Orleans 2 winters ago.
All right. That doesn't count, bro, but we'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the album in August. And I love your stuff, and I'm so thankful that you came today.
Thanks for having
We
me.
appreciate you having the time for us and working it out. I appreciate
Yeah.
you.
Don't
worries.
forget, it's also Bluesfest, but also Folkfest too.
Folkfest too, yeah.
Folk,
Check
yeah.
him out. Mikhail Laxton. You'll love him.
Yep.
You'll
When
honestly
is this
love-
being aired?
Right now.
Okay.
No,
I'm just teasing.
So
2 Mondays.
2 Mondays.
2 Mondays from now?
Yeah.
Yeah, not next Monday, but the Monday after.
Okay.
So today is the 5th, so the 19th,
Yeah.
if I do my math correctly.
Yeah.
You good with that?
Yeah. There's another booking I just got. I don't know when they're announcing it, but I'm pretty sure they're announcing
tell
it
us.
tomorrow.
Tell us now.
I'm also playing Festival of Small Halls
Ooh.
in October.
Nice.
Sick.
Yeah.
Good for you, man. I'm
Yeah,
so
that's
I'm so
awesome.
happy to hear this
You know what?
these good things.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
after Bluesfest and Folkfest, they're going to start rolling in, brother.
I hope so.
Oh, I
I hope that the
not
city
gonna
doesn't get
guarantee
tired
it.
of seeing me.
no.
If you're
No.
good in which you are, and you have that special presence where you're telling a story and you want people to enjoy your music and you're enjoying your music yourself, I think people are going to gravitate towards that.
Yes, sir.
And I think that you can thank us when you're holding your Grammy and stuff, but like just don't forget
I
us,
won't
okay,
forget.
bro? No, I'm kidding. But really appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing you all summer. We'll do another Gramcast. That was kind of fun. We just sort of and tell us. We'd love to chat about how your experience was with the Folkfest and of course Bluesfest. Dog and I are going to try and get out and see it for sure.
I'm making an effort to get definitely out to the Bluesfest because my buddy wants to go.
Yeah,
So-
and I love Folkfest too. So
Yeah.
like it's like my speed too. But
Yeah.
I like them both.
Yeah.
But again, thanks, Mikhail.
Thanks for having me, guys.
It was awesome.
Thank you.